All right, Brandon. First you, then the conversation and the brand. But you
Yeah.
already knew what we were going to do. I have one scripted question, then we're going to talk. You already called me on it. So, what's your franchise backstory? How did you fall into franchising?
So it's actually a pretty long story, but the short of it is, so I have prior experience in the industry, in the quick lube industry. I've worked for two other major brands and spent close to 12 years with them. Decided to go somewhere else in my life, and then so I have family where we are. We're based out of Hanover, Pennsylvania. So I have family close by, and I was looking to move back up here and get back in the industry. And I found Costa, and I started out as an associate franchise coordinator, so just kind of connecting franchisees with our vendors, and then just was able to kind of get the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step, and then kind of grown into being full blown into franchising. I have a little bit of background, obviously, being with those other companies. They were franchise in the bigger brand names, so I've worked for franchises before. But I've been about 5 years now, kind of just head first, feet first into franchising. So,
All right, that's great opening, and it actually guides me in the question that I want to ask because I heard two other places. Mm-hmm. You've been in this industry for a long time, right?
Yeah, and I'm pretty young.
Yeah, right. So, when you were at those places, if someone would have said, "Is this a good business?" You'd be like, "It's a great business." Until obviously you're like, I'm ready to move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to make this comment, and then the question, I'll tell you what the question is. I'm going to make a comment first. But the question is, how do you really find point of differentiation that makes this place the best? Because obviously you're going to feel like Costa is by far the best, but how do you get to that place tactically or data-based after you've been at two other places that you would have said are great? But my comment is this: I don't know, in the industry that you're in, I think branding can play up a little bit, and then obviously the quality of the franchisee and the staff that they hire. But my opinion is it's close to the haircut industry where there's not going to be vast points of differentiation. On the consumer side, it's going to be proximity and comfort. Like, did you do what you said you were going to do? On the franchisee side, because some of the big guys are way oversold out, they could say, I still want to get in the industry. Who else exists? And there's still room for other players. So that's my perception. Comments on any of that?
Yeah. So for me, it really comes down to the philosophy that you have behind your brand and what you want your brand to mean to other people. So for us, I would say our major differences that we see on a day-to-day basis that really are something that you can all pile together to say that this brand is different from the other brands is kind of that ethos of, what do we stand for? What do we want to do? When I joined Costa, I really, really, really tied my belief into Costa's belief of you shouldn't have to have a panic attack before you go get your oil changed, right? We want to make it very flat, very affordable. We want to make it where we are a real retail company first, automotive second, right? So we really care about our customers coming in. We don't want to sell them something that they might not need or don't need in their vehicle to make that top line revenue. It's let's try to get as many people in the door to experience our service, experience our employees at our shops, and have them leaving feeling like, wow, I can't believe I got that type of service getting my oil changed, right? And you are 100% correct with the hairstylist or the barbershop analogy. We actually use that a lot in our discovery days where we are almost like a modern day barbershop. People come in and we see the same customers over and over and over again. We have really, really good loyal customers, and our guys are, hey, how's your mom? How's your family? How, we haven't seen you in 3 months or so. Anything new happening? So it is 100% in akin to that. But yeah, I think it comes down to what you believe the brand can do, and that was our mission is to be synonymous with fast, friendly, stay in your vehicle oil changes that really make an impact in a community, not just a market.
Why do you think the industry has a bad rap? And it's all of automotive. And you said we don't want to automotive second for us, but why does that exist so poorly?
I think that most people that have used a quick lube before probably have a story where they maybe felt that they were treated unfairly, maybe, or they felt like maybe they were taken advantage of at some point. That's usually the top 5 reasons that I hear personally is I went here and felt this way, or I went there and bought this where I don't really see a difference. So I think that that's the big key differentiator for us is when they come in to our locations, they don't feel pressure. They get to sit back, relax. We do their oil change. We do not do any, upsells, right? I always, when I talk to my guys, because we do ancillaries, we do air filters and high mileage additives and certain things that are beneficial to the motor in your vehicle, but they never felt like it was something that we were trying to get them to buy that they didn't necessarily need. And so I always use education than I do sale. So when I'm doing a training or I'm talking to our franchisees about those other products that we can sell, it's always educate the customer on why this product could benefit them. And if you do it in a way that doesn't feel pressury or it doesn't feel like, we run it in today's economy, there's people that just can't afford it right now. And we don't ever make them feel bad, right? That's what we want. We want them to come in, have a great experience. We're going to educate you on why an air filter is important in your vehicle. But we're not going to say like I really would, or anything like that to make them feel that way. And I think that if you have that mindset going into it, we have those customers come back to us because of that.
All right, I love that as a baseline. Now, the big question comes, well, what does that mean financially for your franchisees? And I'm going to preface it by saying, like, Burger Brand X may come out and say, okay, we're going to do everything differently. Well, great, as long as the AUV is greater than what everyone else was doing, or else you're overcomplicating innovation against an industry that exists. So how do your franchisees perform?
So our franchisees are performing very well, especially this year. We had a huge drive on training, making sure that people understood our model and not doing the multi-care model and why to us that's a bad model in our industry. We are oil change only with a very few other items that we sell. But so our franchisees are doing well because so March of this past year, we changed our company-owned stores. So we do have company-owned stores and franchise locations. And a lot of our franchisees have followed in this is that we've changed to a $50 full synthetic only model. So when you come in, it's $50 up to 5 quarts and a spin-on filter, which is the industry standard for an oil change. And we made our pricing very, very easy to explain to the customer. So if you drive a vehicle that takes 6 quarts of oil, then it's $50 for the 5 quarts, $10 for the other one. It's $60 plus tax, and you're out the door. But we do have a lot of verticals in our business that are good beneficially to the customer. And the good thing about having that lower entry price point is that most people, when they've gone to other brands, they've paid $100, $120 here and there after tax. When they show up to us or they see one of our ads that says $50, they have more money that they were allocating to this oil change that they can actually afford to buy the air filter. They can afford to buy the wiper blades. That would benefit them and as a safety thing for their vehicle. So we're able to really capture, even though we're at that $50 price point, we're able to capture a ticket average that's higher than that. And it's still within that realm of possibility for the customer to pay. The other thing for us too, though, is that our overhead is a fraction of what most other brands are charging right now for, let's say, new builds, right? There's other brands out there that, are charging, or the whole build out project could be 1.5 million. We're a fraction of that. So our overhead doesn't have to be so much more that you have to make so much more to be able to make it in the industry or in the business at one location. You can get away with having that larger customer coming in, the customer car count coming in is higher. because our prices are lower. And then we also build on that ticket average and the AUVs by offering these other products that customers are, wow, it's only $50. Yeah, I can definitely afford the $24 air filter that their vehicle is going to benefit from.
Do you have AUVs in your item 19?
We do. Yep, AUVs for sure.
Yeah. What is the AUV for the system?
So I don't have them currently right pulled up right this second. We did our FDD call and our item 19 and everything back in April, so I don't have it top of mind right this second, unfortunately.
Ballpark, what's the cost to get in?
I think on the high end with franchise fee and everything, I believe it's minus the building, it would be around 175,000.
Okay.
And that's franchise fee and FF&E and all of that.
Yeah, pretty aligned.
Yeah, the building changes depending on market and all of that. But our buildings that we do, because we've done a kiosk model, so it's about a 890 square foot building, 2 bays. We have either you can dig out the pits and concrete them in, or you can do a drop-in pit. That is pretty standard in our industry as far as size and depth and all of that. But we can have our building built anywhere from 400,000, and I think the highest that we've seen was 575 for the building.
Are franchisees buying the land, or are they leasing buildings?
So both. It's a mixed bag. Really, realistically, some franchisees want to own the land and the building, and they can do that. Some franchisees, actually, we've worked in the beginning few years. We did a lease-back program where we had a partnership with a company that would come in, buy the land, buy the building, and then do a lease-back. So it made it a little bit more cost-effective.
How many units do you guys currently have?
So we have 18 corporate company-owned stores, and then we have 56 franchises.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued by the land purchase, and the challenge as a franchise brand is sometimes an FDD can't tell the whole story behind it. Mm-hmm. But if you oversimplify it, one, you're a landlord plus you're a franchisee. You build the franchise that eventually pay off your loan on the land. Then you can exit as a franchisee, still own the land, or you exit as a franchisee from the franchise and you exit from the land. You have 2 turns on the business. So it's fascinating to me, especially a business like yours, where you can have land value, because you have to put this in a place that's going to be high traffic anyway, right?
So yes, however, our model is a little different because because our price point is lower than most of the other industry companies in our industry. Mm-hmm. We actually do really well in secondary and tertiary markets, really well. Yeah. One of our locations we just opened up in Reed City, Michigan. I think it's the highest population there is like 2,500 people. But from what we're seeing, we have this building or this location that's kind of centralized into all of these smaller towns nearby. Well, instead of driving to the 45 minutes to the bigger city or the 30 minutes to the bigger city, we'll have people that are 15, 20 minutes away coming into our location that's kind of on the way. So we actually do really well in secondary and third markets. But we do have markets that are in big cities, downtown areas. Our flagship store is in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, the capital of the state. So we do really well there. But again, that secondary and third market is really kind of our bread and butter. Midwest. So we opened up 26 locations last year, a lot of those being in the Midwest, and just the hometown America. They really rallied behind our brand. They like our price point. They like the mom and pop feel, even though we are a franchise. We're very pro business owner. So we don't beholden our franchisees to a lot. We don't mandate a lot. So we want them to be entrepreneurs. We want them to own their business and not have to kind of follow a rule book of this is what you're allowed and this is not what you're allowed. There are caveats, obviously, to any franchise that's out there, but yeah, it's a great experience for our franchisees, and they get to pick where they want to go. They know their markets better than we do.
Yeah, it's interesting. If it sometimes great business and perception can flood or cause a franchise buyer to make interesting decisions. But the example you just gave, one, the cost of land or the cost of build out is going to be cheaper, or the cost of rent is going to be cheaper in a small market than it is the big market. The AUVs should be pretty well protected, and at the worst case scenario, the closer you get to higher trafficked or populated markets, the sales are going to go up. And so I've seen like some of the gym franchises start super urban. Like let's just say they open up one in New York City and the unit just does gangbusters. And then they go outside of the city and it doesn't do as well. Mm-hmm. Even if the profitability is strong, the franchisee is still like, well, why is their gross sales so much greater than mine? And so it creates these perception challenges as the business grows. But clearly with the volume of stores that you open, like it's starting to snowball. And that means only one thing, because if validation was poor, no more franchisees are coming in. And so what that means is you're hitting the expectations that you set in the sales process back to the franchise buyer, or else you would stall out.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I remember the early days when we were selling franchises, you know, every single month doing a discovery day. We used to hold our discovery days in Cleveland, so we were going up to Cleveland. We have 2 company-owned stores there that are really good model stores that we showed to franchisees. But in the beginning, we had a lot of those validation calls. But now that we have so many franchisees open and they're going into year 3, and we even have a franchisee next year that's going to be going into year 4, that can show really good P&Ls, that can show good numbers, that they can show growth, you know, month over month, year over year. It's a lot easier to show a proven model versus, you know, we opened our first location. Costa opened its first location in 2014. We started franchising really hard in 2021, right? So we had numerous years of operations and books to show, to say like, hey, this is actually a really good model. Keep it simple. Don't, in our industry, some people call it the death by 1,000 cuts, that multi-care model. And just to show people that we can create a really good hometown mom and pop feel business with really low overhead. And you know, yeah, we're not seeing $150 ticket average, but at the end of the day, we're paying the bills. The franchisees are making really good margins, and being able to grow and grow and grow. And you know, that's our next step, is to start doing this again and get more people, you know, on the Costa Oil train, and see how far we can take it across the United States.
How many are on the plan to open in 2026?
2026 currently, we do have multi-unit franchisees. So a lot of our franchisees that have 1 or 2 locations are starting to open up their others. I'm expecting anywhere from 20 to 25. That's really kind of my you know, gold star number. If I can hit 20 to 25 franchises open every year, that's kind of our sweet spot.
I mean, that's close to 1 every other week. So it seems like a good measurement of success. So that's great. So let's close on this. If anyone's watching this, what are the final notes you want them to know about the franchise opportunity?
Yeah, so we have a pretty affordable franchise fee, right? You know, if you're looking for a business that you can become semi-absentee or even absentee later on throughout the process, you know, it's a good business to be in. You know, there's so many people out there today that are still in the automotive industry that want to grow with the business, that want to change the way that the people see the industry. We're a great way to do that. And again, it's low barrier to entry. My entire job as COO is to support the operations and the franchises. And every time I go out to the stores, I still do oil changes myself. We don't Costa. Every time he goes to a store to do a site visit, he's in the pit doing oil changes, or he's up top. And this is just a really good community-centric business that if you're interested in something like that, then you know, you can reach out to us. We have our franchising now website, so go to costaoils.com, Costa Oil with an S, oils, and then click on the franchising tab, and you can go and fill out that information there, and we'll be in touch in 2026. That's when we start opening it back up.
That's great. Brandon, I really appreciate it. The good news is if you told me to go change an oil, I couldn't do it. So that's why I need people like you. So it's great.
Yeah. And you know, we want to be there for the mom that has the kids that goes to soccer practice, right? We want to be there for the people that, you know, go to college and maybe they don't have time. Or, you know, you're just a busy parent or a busy person in your day to day. And We want to make it as easy and painless and affordable as possible for you to make sure that that vehicle is staying on the road, especially in today's economy where most people are keeping their cars longer than they usually have in the past. They're not buying new cars as quickly.
Yeah, look, if you're going to keep your teeth long, you go to the dentist. I think it makes perfect sense why this business exists. Brandon,
100%.
Thanks so much for giving us some of your time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, Nick. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, for Brandon, I'm Nick. That's another episode of Meet the Franchise. Take